we had to get her to medical attention. We would had to get, if the weather permitted, go across the big channel to the bigger island, cross that in a jeepney, which was probably 4 or 5 hours.
Wow.
And then we had to go from there on a smaller plane to Manila, which was the only place we could get medical attention. And that would have taken probably a day and a half. You couldn't have done it in a day.
Hey friends, and welcome to Praying with Charles. Today we're excited to be coming at you from Glenwood Springs here in Colorado. Guys, if you could see the views, it would just take your breath away. I'm sitting down with a good friend, JB, and we're going to talk about prayer, and he's been telling me some stories that he has, and I just couldn't wait to share them with you guys. So JB, thanks so much for having us and welcome us into your home, and we're excited to get these stories out to these guys.
I've been was missionary in Philippines for a while, and I worked with a ministry that had been there for years. They Ernie Rebb built over 400 physical buildings for churches, for pastors that he felt were worthy of having a building for their to meet in. So we were on an island called Boracay. It's only a mile wide and I think 4 miles long. We had to get to it. You go by what they call pump boats. They're large canoes with actually they're irrigation pumps installed in it. These little diesel engines, and so we had to get from the main island to there. Across a channel that if the weather wasn't right, you just didn't go. Whenever we had storms, we couldn't get any fresh food from the big island. So we're kind of on our own. So we process of building different churches in different locations. And my daughter had a carpal tunnel operation on her wrist, and she was on convalescent leave, and we'd invite her over to come over and spend some time with us. So she came over, and we had a good time, and she and I were doing some snorkeling at the beach, and we were setting up after we'd done some snorkeling. We were sitting on the beach and talking, and so we got ready to go, and we're going to go down to the beach to wash off our gear. And we started down this incline that was where they landed barges during World War II, and it had, of course, moss on it and stuff, and it was slippery, and she slipped, and she put her hand out to catch herself, and it was the hand that they had operated on, and it was still pink and tender where the scar was, and so she got up and said, "Oh, Daddy, I really messed up," and so she said, she showed me her hand, and it had started turning blue and purple, just really discolored from which was obviously blood coming into her hand, and just terrified me. Anyway, and she's kind of squeamish about blood, so she passed out. And so I've said a short prayer. I'm not sure what I prayed now, don't remember, but so I slapped her around a bit and got her to come back around, and she sat up, and she turned her hand over, and it was perfect.
Amen.
It was just no blood, no nothing. It was just perfect, and I'm sure it was my great faith that healed her, but I couldn't take credit for it because it surprised me. Wow. It totally surprised both of us that that it had just disappeared. And so to go back to where we were, because the island we were on, we had had to get her to medical attention, we would had to get, if the weather permitted, go across the big channel to the bigger island, cross that in a jeepney, which was probably 4 or 5 hours.
Wow.
And then we had to go from there on a smaller plane to Manila, which was the only place we could get medical attention. And that would have taken probably a day and a half. We couldn't have done it in a day.
Wow.
So I hate to think what would have happened to her hand had we not been able to get her medical attention. So it was just a miracle that still surprises me.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Exactly. Friends, I'm keen to know if you've ever said a short prayer like that and wondered, what's God going to do? And I think that's a major takeaway, is that you just communicated with God. That's what He wanted from you, and He did the rest. That's so powerful.
Well, you just, if you turn to God, and He's your alternative, so if something happens, it's just automatically, that's what you do.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I just automatically prayed for my daughter, and she was miraculously healed. And I still look back on it and think, did that really happen? But it did.
Yeah. Well, that story encouraged my faith, and I hope it did you guys too. Friends, this is what we do over here at Praying with Charles, telling these stories of when people humble themselves and pray, how did God respond? So we hope you like this content. Stay with us. Make sure and subscribe. Hit the bell. That way you get notified next time we put a video out. Friends, we love you, and we'll see you in the next one.